Hello, it is me, Jen, and just as promised, I wanted to go over my February review. Here on this channel, I talk about my 30 years of journaling that I compiled and summarized. It took me 2 years to do it, 10,000 pages of journals, and I have taken the best of all the things that I've learned through that process, and I'm compiling them and I'm sharing them with you in the hopes that it'll save you some time, some energy, and some trouble with some of the things that really helped and stuck along the way through my business, through my health, and through my marriage, and just everyday life stuff, parenting, all the things. But I had set out a February challenge for myself, and it was to create some ease. And what I wanted to do was share with you my monthly review process. So during the month of February, I posted in one of my videos a little challenge sheet, and that challenge sheet had a bunch of habits that I was trying to create for the month of February. And so most of them I already had. They were already habits in my life, so it wasn't that difficult for me to do them. It's just a process of refining. And really, anytime you're creating habits, that's what you're doing. You're refining. So often we treat it as judgment, like you're good or you're bad. You did it or you didn't. A plus or not an A plus. And that's kind of how we're trained when we go to school. You get a bad grade or a good grade, and it's very like judgy. And you're not getting credit for learning, for growing. And we all grow at our own pace, and we all have our own things going on in our own lives and our own set of circumstances, the seasons that we're in, our health, our relationship, our environment, our finances, they all kind of factor into everything that we do. But we're kind of like living in this culture of like either pass fail, and you're not getting credit for trying, you're not getting credit for improving, you're not giving yourself credit, so you always just have this feeling of being a failure. And I lived like that for so many years, and it took me a long time, and I processed most of that through my journals to come into a better relationship with myself and still get things done, still move the needle on all the goals and still do all the things, but from a place that is more genuine. And that is what I am all about. If there is a theme to my life, it is living it genuinely. So the decisions I make are mine. They're not what I should be doing according to whoever, wherever. They're from my own heart. As much as I know, as much as I could tell. We're always influenced, whether we know it or not, subconsciously through different things in our life. But most of the time, if I'm choosing something, it is because it's something I want to do. It's something that resonates with me, that feels good for who I am now. I was speaking with my son the other day, and he shared a quote with me. And I was familiar with this already, but it was a good reminder that you need to be making two people happy: your 8-year-old self and your 80-year-old self. So you want to be like your 8-year-old self was kind of just a free spirit who did what they wanted to do without all of this conditioning that's been placed on them and was very true to themselves. Your 80-year-old self is the person who is going to live with the decisions that you make. So you want to be making those two people happy. And of course, your current self. And I'm not sure who that quote was, so I'm sorry. I'm not attributing it to the right person because obviously it's not my son's quote. It was something that he read. But I was like, that's an amazing one. Another one that I heard that was really great was happiness comes through good judgment. Good judgment comes through experience, and experience comes through bad judgment. That is from Robin S. Sharma, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. That's from that book. Fabulous book. I'm currently reading it and I'm loving it. Very much a part of what I'm doing in March. So be on the lookout for those videos. But I wanted to do the recapture of February. So the challenge sheet that I sent out called Refined February looked like this. And it's linked in one of my videos. in the description box. Again, YouTube has this system for linking in your description box, and I'm not sure that I did it right, so maybe I will try to do it again in the future, but I'll definitely do it for my March video because I know I have it set up now. I just don't know that I had it set up correct in February. And basically what I did was I set out my weeks in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 for February. And I wanted a mind, body, spirit, and other habit. So my mind habits were having to do with meditation and moving slowly. I had been in this very hustle headspace. I'm really good at goals and like going after it and being very determined and disciplined. But I had reached a season in life where I felt like I needed some ease, and my ego mind was really resisting this. It was like, oh my gosh, if you don't work out hard and if you don't go hard at your goals, you know, like all of that that's been conditioned, was screaming, like panicking that things weren't going to happen. So I was very curious about what ease would look like and do for the month of February. And I'm going to tell you, I felt panicked. But I had meditation in there and moving slowly for my mind. Body, I had 30 minutes of movement. I also wanted to be more like 80% toward vegan, because my body just works better like that. I've learned over the years to pay attention to my own body. I've been the person who takes on everybody else's plan and tries keto and tries this and tries that and just whatever the thing of the day is. But over time, I've found that my body responds better like this. I'm not saying you need to do that. You need to listen to your body and what it responds to. You have different genetic makeup, different health conditions, different body types than me. So you need to find what works for you. And I always am a big proponent of being your biggest advocate and ally for your health, rather than just relying on the doctor who sees you maybe, you know, very limited time compared to you seeing yourself every day. It's more what you're doing on the daily than a visit with your doctor for 8 minutes, you know, that's going to move the needle for your health. So make sure that you are participating in your health. And then you can bring that data to your doctor, and now you're working in partnership with them instead of just fully relying on them. You know, when you have the information, when you come to the appointment and say, okay, this is what I've been doing for a length of time, longer than a couple days or a couple minutes, like, hey, I've been doing this for 6 months. This is my data. Do you have any suggestions or thoughts about this? So that was for my body. Also a 9 p.m. bedtime, which I did not hit. So I had little things at the top that mark off the day of what you're doing for your habit. And so that was 30 minutes of movement. It was 80% vegan, 9 p.m. bedtime. Did not hit that 9 p.m. bedtime hardly at all. Hardly at all. I'll just fully admit it. I am getting better, getting closer, but I'm not there yet. Mirror work, which is something that I believe it's Louise Hay that has that. If you just Google it, Louise Hay mirror work, you'll find something where you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're speaking kindly to yourself. It makes a big difference. I learned it from Melissa Catherine Farley. I still use it to this day. I had fallen off that habit and I thought it's time to bring it back, because I noticed myself being a little down on myself in the mirror. So I thought, okay, I need to regroup and I need to be my own biggest cheerleader and advocate. So that's where it starts for me. And I also do affirmations. I've been doing those for ages. It helps me to be in agreement with me. Anytime you have a goal or a vision for your life and you're speaking words that are opposite of that, that's a house divided and it can't stand. You need to be in concert with your goals. So the words that you're speaking, the actions that you're taking, The things that you're viewing, listening to, need to align. You can't be scattered all over the place and be getting to where you want to go. I mean, that's true of just a road trip. You know, if you're just driving from Michigan to Florida and you decide, okay, I'm going to go to Denver. You know, it's like you're going to be off track. So, and maybe you want to, that's fine. But just know if the goal is to get to Florida, especially by a certain time from Michigan, you really can't go to Denver. And you can't really talk about going to Denver the whole way. You need to like pay attention to where you're going. So there's aspects of keeping your mind focused that can help, and your words aligned and the things you're listening to aligned with your goals so that you can get there. Also, I wanted to take a picture every day because I had a theory that living with ease was going to make me look better than, I mean, I don't know what, I guess maybe a more ease-filled face. I don't know what exactly I'm looking for. So that's kind of an ambiguous goal. But I just wondered if I wouldn't feel more rested or look more rested or something over time. And I know there's other things at play that do that. There's all kinds of makeup tricks and hair tricks and coloring and all of that go along with it. But I just wanted to look like I was more energized and rested than tired. And I knew that this month, February, I had a trip to San Francisco planned. I am heavy duty into work, so I'm working a load of extra hours. We had someone move into our home. So lots of adjustment, lots of things that are throwing off my routines, and I am still doing these habits to the best of my ability. And having this sheet to help me check in each day and just look, instead of it being a grade on you're good or bad, it is an, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I don't even want to do that. Maybe I have an idea on what I could do to help me do that in this season that I'm in. Or maybe I just need to drop this one for a while. So when you're looking at these kinds of things on the daily, instead of just constantly saying things like, I want to get out of debt, I want to lose X amount of weight, I want to move to this place, I want to get this job. Those are daily things. If there's one thing that 10,000 pages of journals taught me, life is very daily. It's very daily. It's boring sometimes, you know? It's like you think of this big moment of woohoo. It's quite boring sometimes. So if you're not feeling like, oh my gosh, my life is changing radically and I'm having all these epic adventures. The epic adventures that I've had have been me booking a flight, me researching hotels, me sitting on Google Maps and looking up stuff, me creating a budget. I mean, all of the boring parts of that go into creating trips. It's not just like, yee, you know? So, and you don't just land in Hawaii from nowhere, you know, like you have to actually book the flight. You have to figure out where you're going to stay. You know, you have to do some things that are very tasky and they're less exciting than the trip itself. So you have to learn to be in the moment and enjoy the moments on the way. This has been one way for me to do that. Again, I am not a fan of apps. I've done the apps. I've done the the electronic versions of calendars. I've done the electronic versions of productivity. There's nothing that beats a pen and a paper to just ground yourself in before you get distracted. Because every time, I know there are even apps to help you not get distracted. I still get distracted. And I have Niagara app as my launcher. So yeah, I can still get distracted. Because I'll get my phone and I'll think, oh, I forgot I need to look up this, and then I'm gone. So I love a piece of paper because it doesn't have any kind of notification on it. So then the other was a no buy. I wanted to do a no buy as many days as I could. I did really well with this one and I was very conscious of it. Not for any reason than I don't want to be distracted buying. So I should have maybe called this focused February instead of refined February, but I was refining some of my habits, especially when it comes to ease. I wanted to post 8 videos. I didn't quite make it, but I was on track. I've been on track to create the videos and I've been doing it more than I ever have before. So kudos to me for that. I have to not look at it as a pass fail, but look at it as making progress. I'm getting better at it. I'm learning. And I cannot wait for this to be a more regular thing in my life. Again, knowing the season that I'm in, according to Rory Vaden's quote, I just need to be, that will be the most aligned moment of my life because it is so important to me as a woman who has had her marriage be in shambles, had her finances be in shambles, had her health be in shambles, who did not go to college, who managed to find her way, who lived in this little apartment and helped create with her husband an unbelievable, to me, situations where we built a house together and then we sold that house and moved to Florida and we live, pretty close to the beach. It's like that compared to my 20-something-year-old self, unimaginable. Unimaginable. Now, that is not to say my life is by any stretch perfect. It is not. It still has troubles. We all do. We don't escape having things that we don't prefer, but that sometimes is a good thing because it's pointing you to something. Those moments of discouragement are always, I hate to say this because it's like, I'm not saying this in any kind of trite way because I've lived this and I hated when people told me this. It's there to serve you. It's there to teach you. It's there to, and you're like, I don't want to learn it. Thank you very much. I would rather not learn it. And it feels awful. But if there's an encouragement for you, know that at some point, I promise you, you are gaining strength. You are gaining capacity. You are learning something through whatever trouble or trial you're going through now. It will serve you at some point, even if it feels like never, ever, ever. It will. I have literally, there are people that ask me, like, how, Jen? How have you survived this, survived that, dealt with this, dealt with that? Because you look at me and I don't show this to everybody. I don't go on social media and say, this is wrong, that's wrong, whatever. I've gotten really good at like taking care of myself so that, and just knowing, I guess having some, what I want to say is like having perspective. And unfortunately, sometimes having perspective can feel like crap, quite honestly. It really can. I remember one time in my 30s saying that I thought that it was my life to figure out, like it was my calling to figure out all the ways that you could suffer so that you can help encourage somebody. And I really felt that way at the time. I really felt that way because it was like the hits just kept on coming. And while they were totally unpleasant and they totally sucked, I'm not going to paint a picture like they didn't suck because they did. This many years later, they have served me and I have survived them. And yes, there are times when I'm able to understand when people are suffering or hurting or having problems in their marriage and feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm the only one on the planet that fights, or feeling broke and like I'm the only one on the planet who doesn't have their stuff together, or feeling like I didn't go to college and I don't have that advantage and I'm never going to get a good position and I'm going to have to stay stuck in this like low earning lifestyle. Just so many things. And like I've even been injured to the point of feeling like I wasn't going to walk again. and not being able to imagine that and understanding the pain of that. I've suffered a lot of traumatic events as well, and so I understand that life can feel very scary, very lonely. You can feel like I can't make it. And me journaling out this process and reading books to help me through it, this isn't me just like regurgitating stuff that I learned from some video or some guru or some whatever. Yes, I was reading the books, but I was reading the books so that I could survive. And I was reading and I was watching the videos so that I could learn something to actually use. And I have used it. And some of the things I found very, very useful. And I just empathize with people, especially in times that feel very scary, in addition to like your regular life. You've got global things that feel very scary. And so I wanted to really create a space and create tools to help people move through those times, and to know that it is just a season and it doesn't last forever, and it will serve you, and you will get better, and you will be amazing yourself and people around you, but mostly yourself. You will be like, what? I can't even believe this, you know? And that is where I want you to be. So I hope that you'll stick with me. I hope that you'll be encouraged. I will try to bring you encouragement as often as I can. I will try to bring you tools and tips and resources that I've found very helpful. And I just want you to also get whatever you can from it. So again, one of the resources that I have for helping my life get better is my monthly review. So I want to get to that. I've been rambling long enough. I found these Clever Fox planners. They have them for fitness. They have them for medical. They have them for just daily, monthly, weekly. I love this one. I don't know the name of it, but the pages have monthly reviews. I know that's backwards, but they have monthly reviews, and then they have like, this is what the day pages look like. So they even have a little thing for your habits. So that's what those look like. And you could really schedule yourself. I know they have ones that do this weekly as well, and I love those. They're a little bit smaller in size, but this one was fine for me now. So when I did my monthly review for February, I just wanted to share with you real quickly. The thing also that there are lessons learned on your daily or your weekly pages, and also this week's wins and how you'll improve your next week, so that you can use those during your monthly review. But it starts with, what were the biggest wins of the month? Mine, I did new workouts that were way easier on myself. And my metabolic age went down 7 years doing easier workouts. And that was a goal of mine, and I had no idea that it would actually happen. I kind of was very, very doubtful that that would happen. But that was why I did it, because mine was 7 years older than I currently am, and it went back to my normal age. And I was like my chronological age, and I'm like, thank you. And it was just because I went to ease. I also added matcha in the morning instead of coffee. So which one of those had the bigger impact? I'm guessing both did. We started a new account for our business. I got to visit my son in San Francisco. And then we did some fixes around the house that I needed to do. And I've been working on some projects that I have made a load of progress on. So I'm excited about those things. What were the biggest lessons I learned? Having flexibility and freedom with guidelines is important to me. I get more done and better with slow, focused movement than I do just, like, if you slow down just a little bit, you actually get more done. Like, try it. It's really weird. In the mornings, I have just gotten out of that rush, panic mode, and I've slowed way down. And then, like, somehow I get ready and I still have a load of time before I have to get to work. And I'm like, how is this happening? But I think it's because when you slow yourself and you do something, you don't have this, oh, I dropped this, oh, I forgot to do this and I have to go back. There's not all the backtracking because you're so rushed that you're forgetting things. When you slow down, you're not actually losing a bunch of time. You're actually getting things accomplished because you're focused on it. I mean, it's worth a shot of practice, let me just say. People see that I have a ton of capacity. And so a lot of times when you feel like, oh my gosh, you know, they're just assuming I can do this and I can do that, take it as a compliment. Instead of being resentful, take it as a compliment. And remember, you are atoms held together. So, the spirit that holds everything together by the power of your words, that power is running through you, and connect to it daily. I have been meditating every day, and it's my time to connect to something other than the phone, other than everyone else's voice. It's my time to be with spirit, universe, energy, whatever, nature, whatever you want to call that. It's my time to get quiet and allow messages to come to me. Allow myself to hear or be still enough that it's not noisy and I'm not distracted, but I can really hear my intuition, my inner voice, God speaking and guiding. That inner guidance that says, hey, call this person. Hey, slow down. Hey, you need some more ease. It's that. And I love connecting to that. And it's really helped me. And that might help my metabolic age go down too. Making the small heroic moves feels so much better than being pulled by the puppet master of fear. This is why I'm loving small habits. What tasks were not accomplished? I won't bore you with that, but there were quite a few. And so then I just put them on the next month's task to do. How do I feel about my progress? I'm blown away by the metabolic age. And I feel like I've learned a lot about the ego and how it has this way of being that it just wanted to really be fast, and it really wanted to put urgency on things that didn't need urgency. How will I improve next month? I'm going to choose intention setting for segments and staying present. Intention or segment intending is something I learned from Abraham Hicks. If you're doing something like right now, I'm posting a video. My intention is to bring you a video that has helpful information. If I were getting up for the next segment of the day, it's probably getting changed and having dinner. So I need to be in that segment doing that. I don't need to have my brain on the next segment, which would be tomorrow or later or whatever. I can be in that segment and setting an intention for that. Could be that way for your drive to work. When you get in the car, my segment is driving to work. What do I want that commute to feel like? It doesn't take an hour to figure that out. It takes 1 second. I want it to be peaceful. So I'm driving peacefully to work. And you might go, oh, well, then I'm going to turn on this. You know, like it's that simple and quick. Also, sometimes I need to communicate, this is what I'm doing, and there's 0 interruptions. That was something that I wanted to improve for March. I'm creating a new way that better matches the person that I am becoming, that I am, that I've already been, but I refuse to acknowledge because I wanted to live in this space of fear felt comfortable. If I was problem solving, it felt comfortable. If I was panicking, it felt comfortable. If I was in a hurry and a rush, it felt comfortable. I'm embracing something new, something that feels better in this hour. Things I'll do to make myself happy next month. I love experiencing new things, so I'm going to put some new things on my calendar, new places that I haven't been yet. Go outside. I learned this when I was in San Francisco, and it was something that I wrote down in my journal. And because I'm keeping track of this, it's something I can take with me in the future. It doesn't have to stay on my trip in San Francisco. I climbed Coit Tower with my son, and I felt so alive. It was a lot of stairs and a lot of climbing, but I felt really alive. And the last time I felt like that was when I was playing pickleball. So I want to include more of that in my life because it felt really good. And that is how I want to feel. So anything that's going to help me feel that way, I'm going to put that on my calendar. Also, just releasing that hustle I talked about, and segment intending. So one thing in March that I want to do is to have my hair and skin and nails look better. That's just something I want. I want to feel more energized. So again, adding things on my calendar that do that. Like this morning, I took my walk before work and I absolutely felt more energized. It felt fabulous to be outside. I'm so glad the days are getting longer. And honoring my commitments to me. So that is kind of what is going down in March for me. I'm doing a mindful March, and I want to be very naturally beautiful. That is something I enjoy. Beauty. I enjoy beauty of nature. At one point in life, I did cut hair and did makeup. I helped the people that helped make the movie Rudy. I helped that makeup team a little bit back in the day. And so I've toyed with that and had a lot of fun with it and had fun cutting hair. I was in a really bad accident that kind of like made being a hairstylist more difficult because it made the breathing aspects of some of the chemicals be harder on me. And so I just stopped and never went back to it. But I did enjoy being in that industry, and I do enjoy putting together outfits and style and all of that. So I like to include that as things that are fun in life for me. So then when you go into the next part of creating the next month, you can take those items from your monthly review and then create, okay, this month I'll improve like this. I'll include more time that's like this. And then I actually put it on my calendar. I actually put, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm putting it on my calendar. Tasks that didn't get accomplished, I'm either checking them and saying, well, they didn't need to get accomplished, or I'm putting them on a day in the next month to complete. I put some goals. So it has this month's goals, things I will do to make this month great. Skills and habits to learn, places to go and people to see, distractions to avoid, and one thing I've always wanted to do. So you write those things down and then you schedule them into your calendar. And I've been doing this type of thing for years and years and years. And like I said, on the daily pages, it has your habits and skills that you're trying to develop and the days, and you can just check off when you got them done. But on the subject, I know this video is going long, but hang with me for just a second on the subject of habits and skills, because I captured in my journal recently, you already know how to create habits. You have them, and even if you say, yeah, Jen, but they're bad habits, that's such a good sign. You just haven't realized it until today. You weren't born driving through Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's on the way to work. That's a habit you created. It felt good. It felt like one bright spot on a dreary day. It felt like treating yourself good when someone else was treating you badly. It felt like a little abundance when you were drowning in debt. I know because I've done it. And honestly, at the time, it did the job. And really did feel like it got me through. And then I had an epiphany. Maybe the strangest one I've ever had, of course, while journaling. Getting my thoughts out of my head and onto paper. Like a decluttering of the mind. I got up from my sweeping session, went to the bathroom and washed my face with cold water. And I remember playing in the sprinkler as a kid and how cold it was, but how fun it was to run through it. I remembered putting tape on the floor to act like it was a balance beam as a child, walking across it, pretending I was an Olympic gymnast. So that day, I pretended to walk down the beam again. I allowed that cold water, to hit my skin like the little girl running through the sprinkler. And then it hit me. I'm taller. I'm older, but that little girl still lives inside me. She didn't drive through McDonald's every day to feel joy. I lacked standards. Now, before you say, well, Jen, she couldn't drive. I'm telling you, a different time, a different version of you existed and still exists inside you that did not have whatever habit you have that you don't want to have. That habit was formed to make you feel better, just like tiny habits. As certain times are habits we outgrow. And if you have something you're calling a bad habit that was a good idea for a while, you most certainly know how to help yourself feel good. So let's replace it. I'll tell you how I switched a habit. Even my little sprinkler running balance beam walking Jenny didn't want a tummy ache. She knew when people were being mean to her, and she did not tolerate it. She told the truth, even if it made someone mad at her. I bought a Starbucks cup and filled it at home. The same feeling, but closer to what I was aiming at. I did it when they had Vivanos. I don't know if you remember those. And made them at home instead. And I put them in my cup. Better for me and cheaper. I made a waffle bowl dupe from Dairy Queen because I loved those waffle bowls, and they were so high in calories, and I just wanted that taste. And really what I wanted was the peanuts and the hot fudge and the waffle bowl. So I bought waffle bowls and I put yogurt in them, and I sliced bananas, and I sprinkled a couple peanuts and a little bit of sugar-free chocolate syrup, because I still got the taste without the price and without the heavy feeling on my body. So I'm not saying don't ever have a waffle bowl. I'm not ever saying don't go through the drive-thru. But if it's something that you felt like this is a habit and I don't know how to stop it because it's making me feel good, get to the closest replacement as you can. You've built that habit. You can build another one. And creating habits and standards that are more aligned with the you that you want to see and the standard for yourself. That's why I create these little sheets like I created in my other video, because they're ways to help me create a habit. They're ways for me to check in and see, okay, maybe I didn't do it, like the going to bed at 9. I didn't do it in February. I still want to go to bed earlier. So getting closer to that, being mindful of it every day, that is what I'm trying to do. I know that there's things like set a bedtime alarm. I do have that on my phone. I do have it set up. So I've done little tweaks here and there where I've started getting ready as soon as I come home from work. I get my lunch ready, so I'm not like doing that at the end of the day. Right after I eat dinner, I'm cleaning up the kitchen, so I'm not thinking about that while I'm laying in bed. I get my clothes ready. I try to figure things out. I would say I need to establish some boundaries, and tell people I'm wanting to get to bed earlier, and then honoring it myself. So those are some things. Bare minimum examples for exercise would be walking in gym. I did a walk to the mailbox and back. If you're trying to establish an exercise habit, start super small. I did that, and then I ran a half marathon. It was like, my goal was literally every day I'm going to walk to my mailbox and back. I know that sounds, I don't know what, not great, but that's where I was at the time. And then pretty soon I was like, I know I can walk farther than the mailbox. So I would add 5 minutes, or I'd walk to the stop sign and back. And then pretty soon, once that felt good and normal, I would extend it a little. And then I started timing myself. How fast could I do it? And it just evolved over time, but it's just establishing that consistency and checking in with yourself. It's learning yourself. And it's when you get quiet and when you do these kinds of things, these monthly reviews, daily reviews, weekly reviews, where you're checking in with yourself. Checking in with yourself. Not checking in on social media. Not checking in with who's doing what over there, but with yourself. And with God or spirit or universe or energy or nature. Getting quiet. Getting away from the phone for just a minute so that you can check in with you. So that when you are riding out in life, that you know you're doing it authentically, you're doing it genuinely for you, that it is, your 80-year-old self will say, thank you, I'm so happy you did that. Your 8-year-old self will be cheering you on, saying, yeah, that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I just really, really encourage you to sit with yourself. If Clever Fox, I get these on Amazon, they're a great tool, but even if it's just a journal and a notebook, it doesn't have to be any more exciting than that. Most of my journals were just from Walmart on clearance after the kids went to school. I'd get them for 50 cents because I liked the cover, and I would just write away. So there you go.